Hello, hello, oi, tudo bem? Sufi Mafi. Hi, my name is Abay, and I finally watched Ainda Estou Aqui. Ainda eu estou aqui. Eu já vi esse filme. Guys, I finally watched the movie. Guys, I did a reaction to the trailer and it actually became very popular, so I really appreciate all the support. But now, after all those comments, because the comments were unbelievable, so much support for me and the film, of course, which is pretty much what I wanted to talk about, is the film. You guys mentioned and said all these amazing things about the film, so now I had to go watch it. I wasn't just going to go to my local cinema by myself. I had to bring in my Brazilian mom. I was like, Mom, do you know this film? She was like, No, I don't know. I'm like, Mom, you're about to find out. My mom grew up in Brazil and knew stories just like this about the military dictatorship. Fernanda Torres plays the heroine in Eunice, and there's the husband as well, which is pretty much in the focal point of the movie. Because where is he? Why is he being taken away? So that's what pretty much the movie kind of goes into. Right from the beginning, I was already hooked just because of the chemistry with the cast. There's a bunch of children in the movie. It's about 5 kids. So we got to see them all from the beginning. And I was like, wow, this family is so inviting. I was like, damn, I want to go over this. They had a nice house and everything. I believe it was actually filmed in the same exact house, the real life house, because this movie is actually based on a real life story. The story is about this guy, a congressman that was in Congress and he wasn't in power anymore. And basically, what happened is that the military dictatorship came in and they're questioning people. And because he had some influence to the previous government, they basically took him, and basically the story continues from there. We want to know what happened. Right from the beginning, it made me miss Brazil. I miss Brazil. Eu tenho muita saudade de Brasil, muito. Olha, eu like I saw the film today. E eu tava usando esse camisa. I was using this shirt because I was like, I'm gonna put Brazil on my chest because I am so proud of the incredible journey this film has gone. I did not know about this film until one of my Brazilian friends, all the way in Brazil, like actually in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, meu amiga, she said to me, "Hey, you should watch this film. We should do a reaction to it." I was like, "Yeah, sure." And that's how we got to the reaction. And I was like, after all the support, I gotta watch the actual film. And this is what actually happened. I was pretty blown away from the beginning, and the acting, I was like, wow, it just felt so real. Like they all knew each other, and it just felt like the chemistry was unbelievable with the children, and especially Fernanda Torres. I mean, she is being nominated for an Oscar as the leading actress in the role, not just the film in general, because the film was amazing, and it was just so amazing to actually see a film in Portuguese in the cinema in the U.S. Like this is unspeakable. I would have never thought the day that this would have been possible, but with this film, because it is nominated for the Oscar, it basically transcended that and was able to be in that level. At my cinema, there was about 4 people in the cinema, excluding me and my mom, and it was probably like an American couple. 'Cause I was hearing them speak in English, and there was these two other Brazilian girls. So I was like, yes, we have some Brazilians in here supporting our own. So I was like, e aí, muito bem. When like they were leaving, minha mãe was like, okay, ciao, ciao, obrigado. Like we said a little Portuguese, like we kind of acknowledged each other on the way out because we noticed we saw each other there. But it was pretty awesome to see other Brazilians at the movie, and like just the film felt so real. And I don't really get emotional during films, or I wouldn't say I cried, but there was some anticipation for this movie. I knew it wasn't going to be a happy movie, the whole way through. I knew it was about a difficult time. And the thing about this movie, it's about something that actually happened. So that is what kind of makes it hurt even more, is that it actually happened and people were affected and families were affected, that their loved ones were gone and they had no idea. Were they in prison? Were they dead? And they had no idea. And that's the sad reality that many Brazilians were going through, and they still go through, that still live through it today, that still go through it. Okay. And I'm just glad. One of my best things about the film is that is it a historical it is a historical film. It's about something that actually happened. Okay. And what is amazing about it is that people that don't know what happened in Brazil, because many people don't, especially they mostly know about what's going on in their country, not as much globally, especially in a country in South America. But this film shines some light on that. It tells people, and educates them. And maybe they're like, wow, I didn't know that. And guess what? They're going to start doing some research and start investigating what actually happened, because that's an amazing thing, because this movie just was able to put a spotlight on that. Yeah, man. From the start, it was showing Rio, and I was like, oh, meu Deus, eu não fui para Rio em muito tempo. Like, I did not go to Rio in so long. And I remember watching the trailers, if you guys saw my reaction, like, they had, like, cameras and, all these small things, it might not have been that big a deal in the film. Like, I might have not thought too much about it, but stuff like a camera and like a record player and like small little things, and the little things these characters do, it felt so real, and like it felt tangible. Like it felt like it had so much meaning, and I really felt that. It wasn't just one time you saw some of these things that were mentioned or done in the film. It was like you saw it multiple times, and like it made it hit even harder. So the last time that a Brazilian movie has ever been nominated for the Oscars was only one time. It's only one happened once, okay? And that was with Fernanda Torres' mom, okay? Fernanda Montenegro. And actually, she's in the movie. And my mom, she came up to me and she's like, we were like sitting next to each other, and she was like, that's her mom, right? I was like, I know, like it's crazy. Like the mom is in the movie with her daughter, and they both nominated for Oscars. Like the mom was nominated before, didn't win, unfortunately. But I really hope Fernanda Torres gets nominated based on merit, because I was blown away. There were some scenes where she was like really shining on her own, uh, enduring things as a character, and I was like, wow, she is serious. Like I felt pain for her. I felt sadness, and um, I felt for the family and everybody involved, and I was rooting for them, but the problem is I knew a lot of the sad reality. It's like, because of kind of things what happened, it's like sometimes it's like what's kind of gonna happen, and it's sad, but it's a lot of times how you deal with it. I watched the trailer, right, and when the scenes came up in the trailer, I was like, oh, I remember that. I remember watching that, and it makes more sense. And there's a specific shot that has been used in posters, and I remember when it happened, the scene, and it was like, wow, I understand why. And like these scenes is like, only when I saw it for a couple seconds, it felt so real and so much heavier when I saw it in the scene in action. When I actually saw things in context, it just felt so real. And this movie, that's one things I want to say about it. It just felt so real. The characters felt so real. I mean, it is based on a true story, but I felt the emotion really, and it was a great movie, and I just really hope everybody goes and watch it. Every time I talk to a Brazilian, I'm like, você já viu Ainda Estou Aqui? Por que não? Você é brasileiro. Like, go support this. This hasn't happened really in culture, like Brazilian culture. And like I said, like one time has the Academy nominated a Brazilian film. And this is the second time. So this doesn't really happen. So I know a lot of Brazilians are going to go and support this movie, but if you are Brazilian and you haven't seen the movie yet, para com isso agora. Like, você tá vendo esse vídeo, não sei porque tá vendo esse vídeo, não, você não viu no filme. Like, I don't know what you're doing if you haven't seen the film, okay, and you're watching this review. Maybe you're wanted to double check or something, but if you're not Brazilian, I still recommend watching the movie. Go support it's a small budget, because all the other films are huge movies, right? This is a small film, and that's just what I like about it. It's not like this big Hollywood film. It's something small. It hits home. Hits my home, especially. And as someone that grew up in the U.S. as a Brazilian American, all mixturado, right? Like, look at this. Brazilian, Cuban, Lebanese, like what like eu tenho tudo, okay? Like, it made me miss Brazil. It made me really root for Brazil, and make me say I'm proud to be Brazilian. And I really hope they just pull through. No matter what happens, this is a monumental change in Brazilian cinema. And yeah, like, what are you guys doing? Go watch the movie. I would definitely recommend it. Go support them. And yeah, obrigado. E meu Deus, eu tenho muito saudade de Brasil. Yeah, I haven't seen many Brazilian films, but this really made me miss Brazil. So, guys, go check it out.